we've got a professional UFC fighter on the line, so it's always a great time to get into if someone smacks you, what's going on. Which means it's time for Verbal Tap, the show that fighting would be easier from outside the cage if people can chase you out and smack you occasionally. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, of course, Raf Esparza. Raf, how are you before we introduce our illustrious guest?
Kevin, I have been attempted to be canceled.
You? What did you do? Did you slap someone, or is this because of resurfacing footage?
No, this is, of course, in the fact that, yes, like Gina Carano, I understand now what it's like to be silenced. Because, get this, on our YouTube channel, The Bathroom Brawl, I did a bit where I was doing a voiceover breaking down the brawl with Nate Diaz and one John Anik impressions. And it worked just fine for everybody, including like Barstool Sports. The same footage was being used, but on YouTube and on TikTok, the footage was taken down due to violence. And it begs the question, why would you take down just ours? I've seen it on those channels. I don't understand why they're trying to silence us, Kevin. That's
Maybe
really what it is.
Your impressions were that good. It was just violence.
It was just violence. However, I want to bring up one thing, which is after the slap that you're talking about with Galvo and Gordon, and we'll get to that in a second, as well as our guest. I did notice one thing. I put up that clip because they're basically copying something that Milton and I did during our 2019 WWE BJJ bit, where I was eating food, one of the fighter's favorite foods before a fight, and I was eating gummy bears, and Milton slapped the hat off of my head. And it literally played verbatim like Gordon and Galvo. And I got news for you, Kevin. That one didn't get censored by TikTok. In fact, it was rewarded and currently stands at 80,000 views.
Jeez. I'm starting to think TikTok has it out for you. You do have a Gino argument. You're just,
But can you think of the logical part of that, which is, us doing a bit about somebody else getting slapped around, not acceptable. Me getting slapped around, perfectly fine.
I'm too old for TikTok. This is why.
I know. And we've been putting it off for years. But of course, the first clip of me getting beat up is TikTok gold. Anyway, we've wasted enough time. We should get to our guest.
Great question for him. Is he on TikTok? But
we'll ask him right now. Yeah, of course. You know, I always bring somebody for Over Under Kevin who is a champion in many respects. This is a triple header championship pay-per-view. So I needed a big guest, not only somebody who fights in the UFC, but somebody who has knockout power, somebody who has exciting fights, somebody who I know will really bring it to Kevin. So I decided to bring on UFC fighter Kai Kamaka. Kai, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Just got finished with practice around like 5 o'clock, so kind of unwinding for the night.
Good for you. Well, let's ask this, Kai. Somebody slaps you in your face. Do you stand there and just chill? And follow-up question, were you surprised that was the way it happened with Gordon and Galvo?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. Like, I don't know, he got slapped twice, from what I've seen. But not only that, I don't know, I asked everybody what's going on here. Like, what? And they all say, like, oh, there's a backstory. But I'm like, I don't care what the backstory is. You got slapped twice. like we're fighting. I don't know.
I like your outsider.
I don't understand it. I don't dip into like other sports. I stay in MMA. Like, I don't talk crap about boxers. Boxing is what they do. I don't talk crap about jiu-jitsu guys. That's what they do, But like at that point, they're fighting. That you should be fighting at that point.
I like your other perspective, which is like, what? Why is this happening? And people are like, well, there's backstory. You're like, who cares? It's an interesting, because I had my own moment where I was like, wait, what is the backstory to this? That they've kind of wanted to get a fight going. Raph, is there more backstory than that to why a slapping took place? Like that, because to me, this escalates it, right? So, for
Yeah.
example, Kai, your nickname, the Fighting Hawaiian. I've nicknamed myself the Passive Mainlander for this podcast specifically.
No.
But Fighting Hawaiian kind of suggests from the Hawaiian reputation, smacking it's on. That used to.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you just say fight and we're fighting. You know, like that's just the Hawaiian spirit. Like we just want to get into like just some things that are just fun, and fighting is fun. Finding, you know, like there's the Fighting Irish. There's all different types of cultures that like to fight. There's the Mexican style, and I believe we have our own. So I mean, that's that. I represent all of us.
I mean, Kai, I gotta tell you, I appreciate that. I just know that when the slap happened, there were a lot of questions, and people asked me, in particular, a number of them. For example, was there 2 slaps? Because the cameraman didn't actually record the second slap; you just heard it off screen. Which begs the question for Kevin:
Well,
is this
yeah,
all high?
I heard. I watched a video like like a remix video of Gordon Ryan. He was like in the beginning of the interview, and he was saying he slapped him twice, and then they were just like playing the slap over and over. So I just assumed that there was 2 slaps, you know, but yeah.
Well, that's how you know my role in the jiu-jitsu community, which is, Raph, you weren't there, but you're kind of a journalist guy. You're the best that we've got. Tell us what happened. I'm like, I also wasn't there, and I'm piecing it together. And frankly, I was super pissed that I had to wait that long to see the footage because I had to comb the comment sections, which, Kai, I don't know how often you frequent comment sections, and I don't know how frequently you see those people who think that they are tough in comment sections. But did you at all look at the comment sections for this particular slap incident?
I mean, I didn't. I mean, but I know what you mean because you win a fight in the UFC, you lose a fight in the UFC, there's a bad comment section, your DMs is flooded. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah, well, in this particular comment section, there were a bunch of armchair quarterbacks who were all saying what they would have done in that situation. And Kevin, I got to tell you, there was nothing funnier than watching a whole bunch of people tell you how tough they are, using this slap with a fighter as an opportunity to say, you know, let me tell you I'm glad you asked about this slap because, man, I would have stepped up to the plate here, Kevin.
I can assure you, well, I've got a whole problem here, Raph. I just Googled Kai's highlights. And first of all, if you get into smacking Kai, I applaud your distance closing in public. But I'm kind of wondering myself here. I have been putting myself in these shoes, right? I'm not Andre Galvão. I'm not Israel Adesanya's jiu-jitsu coach or ADCC champion or even MMA fighter. If someone slaps me, is my reaction going to be to walk away or not? I think knowing what I know, right? Let's just say Kai slaps me because I'm spouting off about Hawaii and Vegas. Am I fighting him? I'm having that I'm not just an average person pause. Does that factor in, or can I just make myself an elite fighter in this scenario?
Well, I think you can make yourself a worse
mean,
highlight reel, which is...
Sorry, go ahead, Kai.
No, I mean, I think you gotta put yourself like on Andre Galvo's like level of wherever he's at in the jiu-jitsu world, which is, I mean, pretty high, right?
Well, first of all, sold. Okay, that's what I'm using then, Raph. I like that we finally got a deal on this. Damn it, I'm still trying to. I am now combing through the YouTube comments because I was trying to find fuel on Kai, and so far it's really not helpful because someone just has Polynesian tattoos are beautiful, and I think that is a compliment. So somebody just put mahalo. Damn it. Okay, this aside, I think you got to fight him, but I am not putting myself in any Zapruder film moments here, Raph. I do not believe like the JFK assassination of 1960-something 8. This was doctored in any way. I believe this is the accurate footage. It's got to feel like 69. That slapped happened. I don't think it was very... I've been watching too much of Age of Samurai on Netflix. Crushed all 6 hours. of that series. Some people just got to fight it out. That's what jiu-jitsu tribes are. And I guess here's my follow-up. And I'll go to you, Raph, and then I do want to hear Kai's opinion on this. The backlash after the slap has been very divided. 50% of the community thinks it's assault. 50% of people are doing like Andre Galvão needs a bully coach jokes. Both, I think, are a little right. So the question is, Raph, do you feel like jiu-jitsu world gets exemption from this? Like kind of in the same way the MMA, the UFC does, right? John Jones and Daniel Cormier didn't file assault charges. They just went and fought a few days later.
No. And even worse than that, Kevin, we had people who were making the jokes of, if somebody does that to you, you need to just hand over your black belt. And I think to myself,
no,
I think the real...
Sorry, I wouldn't hand over my purple belt, you fuckers.
But I also think to myself, I just think part of it was that Galvão was initially shocked, like, how could you slap me when there's no mats? Like, how dare you, sir? The only thing that crossed my mind is that this just plays into Gordon's realm. He couldn't get a match with him. Andre Galvão seemed to be, in some ways, running from him, according to many people on the internet, and then asked for $1 million, pricing himself effectively out of the match. Then this mysteriously happens, and you think to yourself, is this a work? Are they just trying to build up drama and intrigue? And I got to tell you, Kevin, if they are trying to build up drama and intrigue, this is the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals. Like, if they work together and the agreement from Galvão and Gordon was, okay, Gordon, you slap me. What do I get? I guess nothing. Ah, shit. That didn't work for me. Uh-oh. Whoops. So I don't know that it was really a work. I guess I would say this, and this is the lasting thought I want to make on it, which is, Kai, if you're Galvão, how do you redeem yourself? Do you have to take the match? And I guess, is there any comprehensible argument that you can make that says, yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to fight him?
Well, I think the only way he does redeem himself is they gotta fight. They gotta do an MMA fight. Like, you can't redeem yourself in a jiu-jitsu match. He slapped you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna get him back? Like, you might tap him, but unless it's like the Eddie Bravo's combat jiu-jitsu, that's the only way you can get him back.
Hey, now we're talking. Time out. Slap rules. Raph, that had to have been pitched.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Like, okay, you got me back. Okay, I'm going to take a match, and then maybe I tap you out. You know what I mean? Like, that's not getting him back. I mean, yeah, okay, his rep might be like, bro, like, he slapped you twice on video. Like, you better slap him back.
Well, I just thought of it like this, which is, okay, Gordon wasn't getting that match. And the first thing that came to mind, which is, yeah, Gordon's a dick. You shouldn't just be slapping people. And I know a lot of you guys have explanations, and some of them include, oh, he's from Jersey and the jersey just came out. Most people can't just jersey their way out of things in the real world. But when you're a fighter, it kind of goes with the situation. It's combat sport. I get it. The weirdest quotation that came to me, though, was when you have Andre Galvão, the appointed king of ADCC, one of the best practitioners in the world, and you have Gordon, who is an amazing practitioner, arguably the best in the world right now, who attacks the king, and the king does nothing. I just thought of the scene from Black Panther when he just says, "Is this your king?" And I go, fuck. Now we got to deal with Gordon talking shit like he actually has clout. And I thought that was the worst byproduct of the whole thing, which was, Galvão, I understand if you don't want to do violence, and that's fine. But the rest of us now have to deal with this. And this is really the annoying thing. However, Let's change topics. Kai, I want to get to you moving to Vegas because I know the last time we talked.
Right before that, Raph, can I ask one background question? Because I'm seeing a comment here on YouTube that is it's about you, Kai. When he says he worked all his life, he ain't lying. I was a freshman in high school at the time, and I used to see this dude as a little kid at 808 Fight Factory nearly 20 years ago. Is this accurate? Have you been fighting at 808 Fight Factory? Like, have you been in this game more than 20 years?
Yeah. So my I don't know if you know my uncle Ray Cooper, my uncle Ron John. Those are my uncles. That's my dad's like two sisters' husbands. So I mean, I've been like, I mean, when I say like I'm not. It's not cliche to say like the UFC, like that's my lifelong dream, and I worked my whole life to be here. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, that's it. I mean, I've seen this. Like I was around since like the Super Brawl days, and not much kids can say that. And this is all I've seen. This is all I wanted to do.
Yeah. All right, Raph, feeling old and inexperienced on this side. Go ahead. Sorry.
Fair enough. So when we last talked, you were kind of splitting that time between Vegas, staying out there in the event that they need to call you back up because of COVID. And then I've seen that you and your family have moved to Las Vegas from Hawaii. How much do you miss the weather in Hawaii now living in one of the craziest places in the world, Las Vegas, sir?
It's not that bad. I wrestled in Nebraska when I was in college, so I mean, it's not that bad. Nothing compared to Nebraska, I'll tell you that.
Godspeed.
I mean,
yeah. I was raised in
Yeah.
Kansas. Sorry. Spent some winters in Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's terrible. I mean, like you're like 6 months of the year there's snow on the ground. I mean, Vegas is nothing. I mean, yeah, Vegas is nothing. One of my daughters was born in Nebraska, so went right out of college. So I mean, nothing too crazy. I love it. I mean, the hardest part is just leaving home and moving. But it was a no-brainer with the way 2020 went.
How has your family taken to it? Because obviously you are hyper-focused on the fight side, and it makes sense. You've got a gym. I know who you're training with. I see it all the time. And there are good people for you to train there with. But, like, how did your daughters take it? How did your family take it?
Sure, they're kind of young. I got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and like gonna be 5-month-old boy. So I mean, they're kind of young, and they kind of just going along with it. They think they were closer to Disneyland, so it made it a little bit easier for them. So I mean, it was good.
So,
I mean-
full-time fighting, 3 young children, just moved to Vegas. You're in it right now, my man.
Yeah, I mean, this is everything I could have dreamed of. And then, you know, once I got to the UFC, the workload, I mean, it just picks up because, you know, what they say is it's hard to get here. It's even harder to stay. So, I mean, yeah, it's been crazy.
I need to steal some quick advice here, Raph. That's very
Go for it,
personal. Kai, I'm having a baby here in a few months. How do you keep them alive 0 to 2 years? What's your suggestion in that regard? Do you have your parenting manual in front of you?
This is the only advice I can give you is you just have to have a good wife. I mean, like, that's it. I mean, I'm just fortunate enough to have a great wife who can deal with like the way I sleep. Who I some nights I might not even know if the baby woke up because I'm just a heavy sleeper, and she just handles it all, and she keeps it together for me.
All right. Well, I'll take that. She's not here and doesn't listen to the podcast, so I can say, you know, jury's still out. I'll let you know if we get to great, but that's good advice. But Raph, I swear to God, if you make this clip available to her anyway, the show has blackmail over me. Congrats to the thousands listening around the world. Do not tag me in this. Sorry. Hey, you sound great. You should tag Kai's wife. That was gorgeous. Yeah. He's doing it. You can tell he's very happy.
And I'm being completely honest. Like, I wouldn't be. It's like it's she's the right person for the job with the lifestyle that I live. I mean, so I can't complain. I mean, I don't think there's anybody else that would be able to do it. The fight lifestyle and 3 kids by 25 years old.
That'd be an awesome T-shirt. My wife, the right person for the job. That's not a bad next year's slogan shirts. Okay, I had to ask because I actually am now seeing an Instagram post of a tiny baby. Oh man. Okay, get it together, Kevin.
Let me
talk smack on
see
him
if
in a
I
few
can.
minutes, Raph.
I know, and he doesn't know this is coming. Kai, obviously this is the nice part of the show where we all like each other. Obviously, you're going to have to talk trash to Kevin. I know you as a very nice, personable, great human being, but are you somebody who talks trash regularly? And if so, when?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I talk trash to like my group of guys, like my closest people. I mean, I don't really reach out to anybody other than my like within my realm. But I mean, I'm pretty sarcastic guy.
Okay.
He said
Okay.
realm.
Can you give us an example of maybe one of the best forms of trash that you have talked to one of your inner circle? You don't have to say names. You don't have to tell us who you said that, but like, can you give us an example of one of your roasts that you have done?
Fucking, I don't know. It's kind of hard. Like, I mean, me and my cousin Ray, like, we'll go back and forth, like, just like, it's fucking hard. I mean, we'll just talk shit to each other the whole time. But like, that's me and him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's like, he's like my best friend. So I mean, I don't know.
Well, let me
it's
see if
hard-
I can
hard-
get
hard
an
to say.
idea of it. Because fighting
Yeah.
is within your family, is there ever a moment where you're talking trash about, say, somebody's shot or somebody's left hook? Like, is that the realm of trash talk that you do? Because, again, you have to have thick skin to be a fighter. But when you're filled with a fighting family, I know amongst my friends, they'll take shots at my jiu-jitsu game. In particular, I just wondered if that's the case with you.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, I guess so. And that's more like it.
See, your uncle doesn't scream your jab ain't shit, and you don't have to like scream back. I guess we're all just dreaming.
Nah. Well, like my two uncles are like they're my some of my previous coaches, and they're like the two most like subtle guys ever. So it's kind of hard to say. Like me and my cousin Ray, we are that for our family. We are the ones that'll talk shit and be like, he hits like a bitch, or like we'll be the guys that do that.
Ray is also a fighter.
So
I'm gonna go ahead and presume, in his own way.
Yeah, Ray Cooper. I don't know if you're familiar with the PFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's the welterweight champion.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the family lineage because, like I said, spent way too much time watching a 6-hour documentary. There's just not storage in my brain. But damn, okay. So we're finally getting there, Raph.
So, Kai, I want to get to this because when I was thinking of somebody to bring on a championship edition of the show, I noticed that you've been doing a lot of telling people to go bet on a website. And I noticed that you get actually pretty involved. You make videos on it. You not only encourage them to do it, but you seem to be pretty comfortable putting out fight picks. How often, or I guess, how did you get involved? Are you normally making fight picks amongst your friends? Have you bet on fights a bunch? Because we only know you as the guy who is a savage in the cage. When I see those videos, wonder, is there more to this Kai Kamaka? Is he somebody who is actively betting on fights? Is he actively getting his friends to bet? Like, what do you do?
Well, for one, my bookie is one of my sponsors. But yeah, I do bet on fights. I mean, I haven't been betting on fights lately. I usually just parlay fights. It makes the fights a little bit more enjoyable to watch. You know, I mean, I don't bet when I know the guys personally, just because I feel like that's
Smart.
like, I don't know. It's just hard, and it just makes it a little bit weird. Or I just feel like it's just bad luck. I don't know. And then I don't know. I just feel like I'm a MMA encyclopedia. I love fights, and so I feel like I'm giving educated guesses. But some of these guys, man, you make the wrong pick, they'll be up in your DMs talking mad shit.
Oh, is it higher stakes for you? Yeah. When you make some picks, do you get personal messages?
Yeah, like I didn't tell you to bet. I just telling you who I thought would win.
Oh, I could also see. I can see like all of a sudden Song Yadong drops into your DMs and is like, "I fucking told you I'd knock him out." But that's just
no. It's not that. It's not that type of that guy. It's the guy that's betting that gets mad.
Oh, that's me.
I
Got
didn't
it.
tell you no freaking
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like it's the guy that lost his money because they listened to me. You
I
know.
mean, listen, dude, people on the internet need a reason to just yell at somebody.
Not
And
his
we
YouTube
tend-
highlights, for fuck's
I
sake. This is
know,
the
that's true.
nicest collection of comments I have ever seen.
That's true.
This guy is the
they do tend to
future.
like us,
Thanks, Joe.
You gotta be beautiful too.
Apparently.
Put you in the clear.
Well, let's put it this way. Okay, so Kai, I think you get by now. Obviously, I brought you on because I know you're used to betting. And you mentioned that you liked parlays. You're going to love this game because it's essentially one long parlay. Having said all those things, especially with the trash talk, it is important that you have some intel on Kevin because I know you just don't make up insults. You don't talk shit about your opponents. That's not really your style. But you are expected to talk a little bit of trash about Kevin. So would you like to take the opportunity to ask him a couple questions that would help inform you on ways that you might insult him? Because it's unfair since
I
you don't
wrote
know him
down
as
a
well.
few things also, Raph. If he doesn't have anything specific, I was like, you
Okay.
know, what do you feel bad about currently? And just jotted a few notes down. So that was helpful.
Okay. That's fair. All right, Kai. Open floor for you and Kevin for cross-examination.
I don't know. You're gonna have your first kid, right?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Shoot, I don't know. What do you do for a living?
I don't know. It's never been made clear to me. I have like 3 jobs. I do this. I also work for a tech company, helping when like Netflix goes down.
Okay.
You're welcome.
What is your hobbies?
Currently, eating too much, which is on my list of right now. I'm deep, still keeping pretty sequestered until the vaccine stuff goes.
Yeah.
So up a few pounds in that department. Made some homemade cinnamon rolls with the wife. But
okay, what is your weight and height?
I am 6 foot. No one's ever asked that specifically, by the way. I'm really impressed. I am 6 foot, 221 pounds.
That's okay. That's not ground. I thought that would be ground for me if you're trying to figure out your BMI with that, but it's not gonna help. It's pretty good size.
You're telling me,
though, Kai. Most people when they do this,
that's a football player's stature.
And I'm not a football player, as mentioned. We're working behind a desk currently, so looks different.
it is
right,
pretty.
but you could look like one. You could look like one for all I know.
It is pretty wonderful because most people who do this show and this particular segment, whenever we do cross-examination, just ask Kevin, what jiu-jitsu rank are you? And then they dunk on him for being just a purple belt. And that is in itself its own thing. I like the fact that Kai actually wanted to know the physical stature in a way that most fighters speak freely about. Where
it
they
also
go,
makes
tell me
me
how fat you are.
nervous, doesn't it? Like he's got that robot mind that's just like must strike. All right, got it. It's like, So I'm gonna give you a few of the things I've listened.
I was gonna figure out your hobbies.
Yeah, I play a little music, so I frustrate drum. I also I've been listening to an embarrassing amount of Miley Cyrus lately and kind of dancing to it. Got winded after about 20 minutes of shadow boxing today. Felt pretty good about that. Otherwise, just walking dogs, and that's it right now for me.
All right.
I enjoy the fact.
Kansas?
From Kansas, yeah. Now out in Denver, Colorado, where the weed is legal and the altitude is higher. Actually, it's legal in Vegas too. Still remember my last felony.
It is nice because Hawaiians don't even have to be on weed to talk like they're on weed. So Kai is already speaking at a certain level of understanding you, Kevin. I want to do this. I want to go and take us to the game of over under, Kevin.
And now it's time for another thrilling installment of Over Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a segment we like to call Over Under Kevin. My name's Rafa Esparza. I host this part of the show. And this is exciting because this is a triple championship event. The way Over Under Kevin works is very simple. We go through the entire card out of order, and we give each participant 15 seconds to say who they think is going to win. If I so deem it, I will give each participant 15 seconds of rebuttal time. And although we technically reward those who get the most pick right as the winner, we do technically appreciate the person who talks the best trash. Gentlemen, do you both understand the rules? Kevin, do you understand the rules?
The last time it was a 3 championship night for me was at this wrestling comedy event that turned into a pretty weird orgy afterwards. So I'm ready.
Good
Whoa.
to know. Kai Kamaka, are you ready and do you understand the rules?
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. All right, gents, we're going to start this off right up top over at the welterweight bout between Sean Brady and Jake Matthews. Kevin, you're starting us off. 15 seconds on the clock.
I'm still arguably scarred from the Super Bowl, and I can't pick against anyone named Brady, especially ask me if he has a Celtic cross on his chest. Yes, he does. I am obligated because he defeated my house to choose Tom's brother, Sean.
Got it. Kai, who do you got on this one? 15 seconds.
Sean Brady.
Do you have any particular reason
thought-
why you're going for Sean Brady on this one?
The tattoo, to be honest.
Yeah, the tattoo's huge. I mean, spent a lot of hours in the chair on that one. So, I mean, he probably has a lot of pain tolerance. So I got to go with him.
Kai, do you ever go for a fighter that you don't know just based purely on their tattoos?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. So it's not like with people in walkout music?
No, I kind of watch fights like, I want good fights. I don't want like guys getting run over. I mean, I want evenly matched fights that are, good and entertaining. I mean, of course there are times when a guy just gets caught or whatever, but I like entertaining fights, evenly matched, and both guys are getting after it.
What's wrong with Jake Matthews that you picked against him? And you also shit on my tattoo theory, so I want to hear why you're picking against him. And I'm also taking notes for my own personal betting.
Well, it's not that I don't know Jake Matthews. I've just seen a lot of Sean Brady,
All right.
even on the regional scene. So.
Yeah,
That's
Sean's
it.
had a lot of momentum going his way, so I don't really go against you on that one. But Kai, you're going to keep things going. It's a flyweight bout between Joseph Benavidez and Askar Askarov. Who do you got?
I gotta go with my buddy Joseph Benavidez. I've been following his career for a very long time, and I love his humor. I love his style. I love just the guy he is.
Kevin, who do you got for us on this one?
I loved everything he said except the pick. I'm going with Askarov, and it's not what you think. It's an age thing. Neither of them has any aggressive or really tattoos to speak of, which is rare for an MMA fight. I'm sorry, I'm taking note. I'm going with Askarov.
Kevin, this question is for you. Kai recently mentioned that he doesn't bet on fighters that he knows personally, and yet, right here he says he's going for Joseph Benavidez because he's his buddy.
But will he
Does
put
he have
money on
confidence?
him? He will not, is the answer. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't put money. I want him to win. But
Kevin, I'll tell you this right now. You're my friend, but I don't know that I would put money on you fighting.
Thank you, but okay, I assure you this though, if you were fighting someone and I could get good odds against you, like the public was on your side, sorry, my man, like it's win-win for me. It's an emotional hedge, so I think it's fair to say we'd both bet against each other.
As long as you cut me in on the profits after I lose. That's
I'm
perfectly fine.
buying
All right,
the
we go to our next
buffet.
match. Next match, light heavyweight bout between Thiago Santos and Aliscar Rakit. That's not a real name. Anyway, Kevin, you go first.
Okay, hear me out. This fight. I circled this. This is the fight they're going to replace the main card fight they lose with. You know they're going to. And as soon as I saw this fight, I was like, why the hell are these two fighting first on the undercard? I am going with
No, I think
Rakic.
they're on the main card.
What?
I think they're on the main card.
No, they're on.
I think so.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they are. I'm sorry. I scrolled up. I circled the wrong part. Well, rant stays. Rakic.
Rakic. All right. Kai, who do you got on this one, sir?
Shoot. I mean, I think, Alexander Rakic he's hot right now. He showed. I don't know. He's a little bit more diverse in his striking. I feel Thiago Santos is. I mean, it looks like he's a little bit more emotional fighter and just doesn't have as much tools as Alexander.
I will say the last two people he lost to, Teixeira and John Jones. One of them super defensible, but yeah. And apologies to the main card rant. 15
fair
fights.
enough.
I lost track.
Yeah,
Kevin,
that was
here's
terrible because I'm actually looking at the card right now, and like you said that, and they're actually the first fight on the main card.
Hard to believe I'm a professional.
Here's an important thing to note here, though. Kevin,
8 years. Go on.
Kevin, this is an important note, which is, okay, we're talking about these fights, and now we have Kai Kamaka on a betting segment. Is there a chance he loses MyBookie as a sponsor after coming on this show?
Oh, it's MyBookie that's his sponsor? Oh, they got me through some tough years while I was living out in D.C. until Colorado legalized. Oh. That would be interesting if MyBookie would be willing to, like, if we could get them to, like, sponsor a Pink Slips for boxing gloves for this fight, like myself.
All right.
Winner gets to take the loser's state over. He has to say he's from Kansas. I get to say I'm from Hawaii. He has to turn his name into the fighting Kansan. No, he has a lot to lose. I don't think I bring the stakes to this.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be safe for you. You can't just be walking around saying you're from Hawaii.
That's fair. I say I'm the fighting Hawaiian. Somebody squares up and just knocks me unconscious. We do have a problem. Yeah.
They'd be, no, you're not.
To be fair, though, Kevin could tell anybody he's from Hawaii, Kansas, and they believe him. So he could get away with it in certain regions. But I want to move on. This time I'm putting 30 seconds on the clock. Just definitely not in Hawaii. I know for sure. I would tell you this. If I was to be in Hawaii and things got a little hectic, I would just bust out my BJ Penn impression and see if that got me any further. Anyway, we're moving on. Gents, I'm excited for this fight because it is a bantamweight bout. I'm putting 30 seconds on the clock. It is a fight between Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. Kai, you start us off. 30 seconds. Who do you got winning this fight and why?
Honestly, I don't know who. I mean, I would love Aljamain Sterling to win. I've been helping him get ready for this fight. I've worked with him a few sessions for his last Peter Yan fight and this fight. But I just feel like stylistically, where the fight goes, that's who wins the fight. If it's on the feet, Peter Yan definitely wins it. If Aljamain gets him down, his pace on the ground, his creativity is just, he's comfortable there, so he's gonna be going for it when he gets to the ground. So I'll go Aljo.
So you were going with your boy Aljamain Sterling?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with him. I've been sparring with him. So I mean, I'd say Aljamain Sterling just from experience of training.
Fair enough. I was gonna say this may not go well in your circle if you're not picking him, but okay, I appreciate that. Kevin, 30 seconds on the clock for you.
First, I'm starting to
Trying
believe.
to set me up.
Hey, listen, this is the game. You agreed to come on. It's not like it was a surprise he was fighting on this card.
Kai's good at this because his trepidation is matched by Vegas. Both of these fighters are at minus 110, meaning Vegas doesn't know who's going to win either. And they have it at a straight split according to ESPN right now. I'm going to go with Yan, not really out of any specific reason outside of I'm trying to earn a point against Kai, and if it's a toss-up, this is a moment for me and some gamesmanship. Plus, I get to yell, yawn, aggressively if that's why I win. And that's the second best thing I'll get to yell if it's a win.
Kevin, do you think it's going to be personal? Go ahead.
The light heavy, you can't be just yelling that because the light heavyweight fight, they say Jan Blachowicz, so you can't just be yelling Jan. They be thinking they don't know who you're yelling for.
That's fair. I'm gonna make a note.
Fair.
I have to say Peter Jan.
Who knew that we were going to have a fact checker and a fighter coming up on the show? Well, actually, Kevin, you can't just be yelling that out.
Careful with that Jan talk, unless I pick Jan Blachowicz. You don't know what I'm going to do. I could.
Fair. Kevin, let's discuss this, though.
Then can I yell Jan again, especially if I parlay them for a +1, Raph? You hear what I'm getting at. I'm just throwing it out.
I do.
Kevin,
important question to ask here, though. Do you feel that you're going to have even more bragging rights if you get this pick right over one Kai Kamaka, especially in the fact that he helped Sterling get ready for it? Do you feel like you are going to be able to pull that off after the fact?
Great question, Raph. Do I feel that sense of entitlement a street warrior feels when he gets to say, I would never fall for that move in the cage? I don't. I don't, because I didn't work with Mr. Peter Yan, but I do appreciate the question. I felt like it was an opportunity for me to bloviate a scotch more, and I'll work on it.
Fair enough. We're going to go to a light heavyweight bout. This one is between Kennedy and what looks like a strong password recommendation, Nizwigu, and Carlos Ulberg. And Kevin, you start us off on this one. 15 seconds on the clock for you.
Yeah, password-wise, that would get you through, except you need a few numbers and a special character. Otherwise, that might just count. They might just be like, nope, this works. I am going to go ahead and go with Jek Uku Wu. Even though he is not favored, but he is pictured. And I want to hear...
That is important.
Yeah.
Kai, who do you got on this one, sir?
I think I had to go to Carlos Ulberg, on the fact that he has some Polynesian roots.
Shit!
And he's been training. He's been training with the champion Israel Adesanya.
Former
Kevin.
champion. Jan!
Now, we figured out his whole thing. It's not abs. It's not tattoos. It's not who has the photo. We've noticed right now that Kai Kamaka will go for the person who has Polynesian roots. Is that blinding him at all, Kevin?
I don't know, man. After seeing some of the deep-seated warriorism in those roots, I like to think it might be a strength. But I will say he's taken the easy route in the South with Ulberg. So I'm just going to note, minus 240. So you can make some money on that.
Let me ask this. You don't guaranteed money is a problem. Kai, let me ask this. And you don't have to say who the fighter is, but has there ever been a fighter that you disliked after they lost you a certain amount of money in a parlay or a bet?
Yeah, that fighter is myself for freaking being emotionally attached to a certain fighter for whatever reason. Idiot.
Do you mind saying, was it BJ Penn? Was it BJ Penn? Just hit your mic twice if it was BJ.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Of course not. It would have to be a lot of the Team Alpha Male guys, just because I love Team Alpha Male. I love their style. And every championship fight, I picked them to win. And you know how, their record isn't good in UFC championship fights because, for whatever reason. But, because but I'm so attached to them emotionally. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win. And they end up losing. That's my fault, though.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, no, I like the fact that you take it out on yourself. Most people just blame the fighters. We have spoke to many people, even when I tell them don't name the fighter, and then they name the fighter, and I go, you didn't have to do that. So that's how deep it runs for certain other fighters. So that is a very impressive trait.
Yeah.
It's admirable, Kevin.
Well, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at them. That's just my fault for thinking that, like, oh yeah, he's gonna win this time. Oh yeah, he's gonna win this time.
I mean,
You know?
it's a good internalization to say it's my fault for believing you had skill. So, take that.
Well, I looked at it as an underdog perspective, like, I think Uriah got him this. He's gonna get him this time,
Mm-hmm.
or Chad Mendes is gonna beat Aldo this second time. I think he made improvement. I'm just like a little bit blinded, and especially with Team Alpha Male guys at that time, or years prior, I'd be a big fan of them.
And we're officially.
I trained with them when I was in high school. That's why.
Mm.
God damn. We're officially at the 1/3 marker for
I
Team
know.
Fighting Hawaiian versus Team Passive Mainlander. So
Let's go this way. This is a women's strawweight bout between Livia Renata Souza and Amanda Lemos. Kai, who do you have on this one?
I have no clue. This is probably one fight that I don't know anybody in.
No problem. Just 50-50 it. Do you like Lemons or do you like Souza?
I think I'm gonna go at Amanda.
All right, Amanda Lemos.
Amanda
Kevin, what do you got
Lemons.
on this?
I am also Team Lemos. And I wasn't until you were like, "Do you like lemons?" I was like, "Yeah." Oh, thank you, Raph. you just waxed on me right into that pick. So I'm gonna join you.
just saying,
Community pick.
If she wins, you can say you made lemonade. I'm just saying.
Team
That's
Lemons.
it. That's really what it is.
Love it.
So here we go. Lightweight bout. Euros Medic versus Alan Cruz. Kevin, you got this 15 seconds for you.
These pictures, inexplicably, are both in black and white. And the UFC kind of does that, kind of doesn't. But I'm going with Yuri Medic. He's still undefeated, and I'm sticking with
They
it.
both came from Contender Series. That's why the picture's like that.
Is it really? Oh, that's fascinating. Why?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Do they just take your Contender Series picture and use it? Is this something you all know?
Well, no, it just makes sense because Euros Medic, this is his debut, I believe, and then Alan Cruz, this is his second fight in the UFC, and they just probably haven't changed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have solved something that's been puzzling me for a year, which is why they have certain pictures for certain fighters. Whew.
No, yeah, you'll see that, like, the guys that have come from Contender Series, their pictures are still black and white.
Guy, you got to
enough.
come in more often and answer some of these technical questions. But Raph, thank you. I feel like a small weight has been lifted. Do you have any idea why some fighters just aren't pictured at all yet? Were you supposed to submit your photo by a certain time and they might not have?
No, the UFC don't play like that. They're probably making their debut. I don't know. I'm not looking at that lineup, but I mean, most times when you're making your debut, you probably don't have your photos done yet.
Fair enough. They didn't get him back from Sears. Kai, you've got this one next. Euros Medic versus Alan Cruz. Go for it, sir.
I gotta go with Alan Cruz. I've seen him train, but he's going up in weight class, so I think this is a better weight for him. And yeah, he's pretty well rounded. He trains at 10 Planet and Extreme. So yeah, he's pretty well rounded, and he's going up in weight. I think he's a lot healthier. He's like 6 feet too.
Okay. All right. Gents, I'm putting 30 seconds on this one because it is a women's featherweight bout between Amanda Nunes and Megan Anderson. Kai, you start us off on this one. Who's winning this one and why?
Amanda Nunes, I feel like she hasn't given us a reason why she's gonna lose this fight. And yeah, she just, like, she comes to scrap. She brings it. And I don't think that there's a girl right now that's gonna meet force with force to stop her. I mean, I feel like that's the way to beat for somebody that comes forward. You gotta meet them, and you gotta dictate the pace. And I just feel like Megan Anderson doesn't have that.
Kevin, who do you got on this one?
Nunes. And I want to ask you two, what do you think the odds are? What do you think she's minus?
Probably like what, 600?
Okay, reasonable guess, right? She's a 3-time. That makes sense. That 600 is huge, right? 600 is a sure thing. Raph?
Give me 900.
1,100. She's minus 1,100. I don't know that I've seen that number. I wish that was a statistic that popped up out of this thing. Minus 1,100. Nunes.
You know what? Put $20 on Megan Anderson.
Okay,
because
she's
why the fuck
plus
not?
700, Rap, and I am staring at my FanDuel. So we have competing
Wow.
sponsors tonight.
Yeah,
I think that's how.
Sorry.
That's like what Holly Holm was. She was like plus 900
I don't
Against,
think so, man.
on Rousey.
I don't think it was that bad. I really don't. I don't remember Rousey being favored by more than 650, 750. 1,100. Holly Holm, I think she was probably like a good odds favorite, but plus 700. Bet $100, you win $700. It's amazing.
Well, I'm glad that we're all in agreement here. I just don't know how you stop the Amanda Nunes equation. I know you mentioned force with force.
Did you see the
but
baby
we've seen-
article? Did you see the baby article? As somebody
Yes.
who's trying to have one guy with 3 children on the line, dog, everybody gets this feeling. She's got this picture next to her baby. It's like renewed focus. Teammates, the whispers are teammates haven't seen her like this. It's like that's what ratchets this up to minus 1,100. Vegas like, oh shit. Yeah, Nunes looks.
Oh yeah, she had a baby. She's fighting for a different purpose. Okay, boom, minus 1,100.
Yep. And in addition to, was she going to lose anyway? Minus 800. So let's just ratchet it up.
Oh shit, she's got a baby in that photo. Oh, better pump up
she's
those
nearly
Ricky numbers.
Murdered everyone she's ever fought.
She ain't getting hit.
You know it's bad when the baby has odds going into the fight.
Yeah.
All right, bantamweight bout.
Two guys
Mario. I'm gonna move ahead. I'm not gonna do any more jokes on that. I think we all know Amanda Nunes is the favorite. If she doesn't win, all of us will come back very surprised. Bantamweight bout: Mario Batista versus Trevin Jones. Kevin, who wins?
This is really difficult because I really like both of these names, but you know I'm going with Mario Batista. I absolutely could not get over the name.
It's hard to.
Why is that?
Batista's powerful.
Mario Batista is one of the coolest, sounding to. They both sound like chefs. This sounded more like an Iron Chef matchup, and sometimes you just hear a name that's too cool to pass up, including Mario Batista. I have to explain it more.
Sounds like David Bautista.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
close.
mean, listen, dude.
Does not to
Batista,
me.
the actor and pro wrestler, is money too. I would accept that as being like, listen, dude, if this dude power bombs somebody, how great is he going to be able to call it a Batista bomb if he does it on air? There are a lot of great scenarios in which we can go on this. But Kai, who's going to win this one? You got Mario or you got Trevin?
Shoot, I'm gonna go with Trevin based off of his last fight, which he should be ruled a win when he was getting just destroyed by Timur in his debut, and then he comes back in the second round and just catches him right on the jaw and knocks him out.
Kevin,
that fight should have been stopped in the first round.
He was disqualified.
Yes. Kevin, earlier in the show here, Kai referred to himself as an MMA encyclopedia. Are you getting that sense thus far in?
And I'm starting to worry. He's been working with my bookie to set their lines. I've got 2 theories running. Both are competing in Nemesis, but they point to yours, which is he does seem to have paid casual attention to the MMA world. Casual attention. I don't know that I'd call it, genius level yet.
Encyclopedia, yeah.
I like that Kai spelling it out for you again. It's like, no. Call me an encyclopedia because
Well,
I put in
Yeah.
time.
does he remember who he fought at Energetic Pursuit on February 24th of 2018? Kai?
Who I fought?
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, none of us on this show
I
fight,
never-
so it's got to be you.
I never fought in Energetic Pursuit.
Oh.
That was the title of the show. It was
KOTC.
KOTC, right?
KOT's. Oh,
Yeah,
then
the
I guess he
communication.
has, Raph. Things have really gotten flip-floppy
Rick.
in Kai Nation.
That was Rick. That was Rick James.
That's
if I'm not
right.
mistaken, right?
He fought Rick James, bitch, at the Energetic Pursuit
Yeah.
at KOTC.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it was
feel a little
KOTC, and that was the
safer.
title of the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, just sitting here being like, it's not fair to ask the guest if he remembers fighting on a card that's the subtitle card, Kevin. But
Well,
okay.
If you said King of the Cage Energetic Pursuit, then I would have known from the bat. But then you went with like the show, like
Mhm.
the what is that called? The little title of it.
Hey,
Yes,
it's
Go ahead,
Sure
Kevin.
Dog is that went with it. But I
Mhm.
guess, maybe that doctor was right who stopped you at Sanctioned. He seemed to be on. That was
Yeah.
another KOTC. Sounds like probably
All right.
Nada.
That was
Let's move-
KOTC. My shoulder popped out.
What? Oh, that's gross. That's
Yeah.
not what it says. I just assumed you had a cut on your eye.
No, I had like a shoulder dislocation.
Oh, gross.
That's how I lost those 2 fights in a row.
Why? What happened to your shoulder?
No, just from wrestling. And not getting shoulder surgeries when I needed to, and then I just kept taking fights that, I thought I was better than the guys, and my body got the best of me still yet.
Well, Lethal Weapon applauds you, sir. That's amazing. You don't hear that often.
No. Well, we're coming up on a fight right now that has some vested interest for the show because it's a lightweight bout between Islam Makhachev and friend of the show, Drew Dober. Kevin, I'll lead you off on this one because I've already asked Drew what happens if you don't pick him, but we'll continue on. Kevin, who do you got?
Yeah, and this one's tough because I'm going to tell Drew to his face he's plus 280. And then I'm going to tell him, but I can't bet against those abs. Drew Dober is my answer. The style bender. The ab bender. I'm going to earn plus 280, and I say we parlay him with Anderson, and we go buy a private jet.
Fair enough. All right, Kai, what do you got on this
I
one?
thought you were
sir?
gonna say like Dober and like parlay him with Sterling, but then you just chose Anderson. I was like, I don't know. I honestly don't. I think that fight can be fight of the night. Honestly, that's gonna be a great fight. I actually got to roll with Islam, but I'm a big fan of Drew Dober's. If Drew Dober touches anybody, they're gonna go to sleep. But Islam is such a technician. I think it's gonna be fight of the night.
So who do you have on that one?
We just need you to pick who's going to win it.
I would love to see a slugfest. So I think I gotta go with Drew Dober.
There we go.
Just 'cause
I'm definitely
he's-
putting money on him now. He's plus 280. I'm going to
He's
do
the
it
guy
before the
that's gonna-
podcast goes tonight.
Yeah. Well, he's the guy that's gonna give the slugfest. Out of the two. So if it goes that way, I think I gotta lean towards Drew Dober.
Kevin, are you worried for Kai in that he didn't do enough in the preparation to help Islam be ready for this fight so that he's picking Drew Dober?
No, because Kai's a competitor. I can hear it in his voice. He eyes every one of these mofos as an opponent. He's like, if I eat a case of donuts, I'm fighting you next. Like, this is going down. So I don't blame him. Plus, can you explain it if you've been doing it as long as you have, Kai? It's like fighting's a different thing. It's like that's why you got all Brody about jiu-jitsu earlier, and I haven't forgotten. I heard it. We've got a wrestler here, which AKA he went to Nebraska for hugging school. PhD level. You know, it's fine. It's a great sport. It'll keep you warm during those cold winters. But yeah, I'm starting to sense it, Raph. Victory is on this side.
Kai, can I ask a question here? Which is, now that you understand that we do this as a show, and much like in this case, Drew is a actually really important friend of the show who understands that we do this as a game. Do you have any heated warnings for Kevin should he ever pick against you?
No. I mean, he gotta. I don't know. I don't care. My job is to win fights and make money. I mean, I could care less what people think. If they think I'm gonna lose, hey, if you think I'm gonna win, thank you. But if not, I don't care less.
Switch roles.
I still gotta go. I still gotta go out there and win.
Raph, switch us.
Okay.
I'm going out there to fight. Ask me if Kai needs to bet for me.
Does he need to bet for you?
You're goddamn right. We did a show together. It's a little thing called loyalty. It's called Fighting Kansan. Join me. Either you're with me or you're against me.
Of course, if you pick against me, it's like I ain't ever coming on this show again. But I mean, you know.
Okay. See, that's the honest answer I was expecting.
But I mean, am I gonna sleep well at night? I mean, fuck yeah, I am.
I'm just glad because, again, when I pressed it to Dover and I was just like, we got to do this. You know that we do this. And he knows that we picked him before in many of fights. But I go, have you ever thought what happens if we don't pick you? And he just goes, that's not going to happen. And I go, oh, okay. That's a good warning. That's a good way of telling us. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah,
anyway.
Get you some new friends.
Well, the other reason is because Drew also rolls with us on occasion. So he kind of knows that he can equalize that because that dude's tree trunk legs are not really heel hookable. So kind of takes away one of the weapons of the show that we have to try and, equalize things should we be overwhelmed. And we usually are. So it's just good to know. Here's what we're going to do right now. It's a good time to tell you, Kai. We don't do financial bets on this. We're not MyBookie. However, there is usually some kind of wager between you and Kevin. Now, Kevin, can you give some examples of the wagers that have been done in previous over-unders?
God, I can send him a video. It would be helpful. I had to make dick cookies for Anthony Burchak. Well, I lost. Then I had to make dick cookies. Dan Martinez just had...
What is that?
What's that?
I said, what the fuck?
Well,
yeah.
I could show an example, but you just make some sugar cookies in the shape of genitalia and then decorate them to serve. Anyway, Dan Martinez had to chug 5 natties. That was his fault. He talked smack on Natural Lights on the podcast. I was willing to just drink them in peace and not be judged. But Slap Captain himself, who would actually be really helpful in the Galvo camp, go chat with Dan Martinez. He's out in Florida. You'll find him. Just go to the beach. Be like, where's the slap guy? He chugged 6 natty ices, actually, Raph. And I like that he chose natty ices and wasn't paying attention to the natty light part. Big difference, just as a heads up. And those are some recent examples. Shirt exchanges, social media posts, 5-star reviews, those types of things.
So, Kai, without saying what it is, if you have one in mind, do you have an idea for a wager that you would like to do with Kevin?
I don't. I mean, I didn't know I didn't know to what length until right now. But
it's okay. Here's the good news. You've got 4 more fights to figure it out.
Oh,
there's 4 more fights, Kevin.
Feels like more.
4 more fights to think about while we preview this.
Can you give me an example of?
I only.
But you gave me a wide range. You went from dick cookies to social media posts.
Yeah, no, I mean that really is the range. So in the past, Kevin has had to dress up like Uriah Faber. He's also had to shout out people and do a video for them. When Kevin has beaten people, they've had to admit the candy corn is actually a delicious food when they vehemently hate it and understand that candy corn is actually trash. Like, we usually pick something that kind of is specific to the guest. So we try to come up with things that are fun in nature, usual ribbing of that sort, but nothing too ridiculous where you're shaving hair and that sort of a stuff. We're not that dumb. Does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We've still got 4 more fights, so take your time to think about it. But first, you got to think about who's winning in the Bantamweight bout between Dominic Cruz and Casey Kenny.
I think Dominic Cruz. Casey Kennedy is really good. Good everywhere. Mixes up his striking really well. But I think Dominic Cruz just knows how to win. So, I got to go with that.
Fair enough. Kevin, who do you have on this one?
Oh, man, this is great. I have Casey Kenny, and it's not close. I worry about Dominic Cruz's ability to get back inside the cage. He's too used to being outside the cage, and it's easier, it's more fun, and it's not less money for him now. Can't go back. Not once you've settled. He's too old.
Word.
I agree with that, too.
Yeah, you think he's gotten too used to the commentary gigs now?
Yeah, well, it's just hard. I feel like it's hard to juggle. It's hard to juggle training already, and then you're juggling like that as like another primary job or like a job that's up there. I think it's I think it's too much. Unless he makes it work, we'll see on Saturday.
Plus, Kai doesn't understand over 30 metabolism. Dominic Cruz
true.
does. So keeping your ass at 135. North of 34, 35, it gets difficult by the day.
And I'll tell you this, I see a lot of those Dominic Cruz highlight videos where he talks about his footwork. Not as fast.
It hasn't been going great. It has not been going awesome in the footwork department.
Still faster than the rest of us.
Sure.
Kai, different, but definitely myself.
Most of us on the line. Most of us.
All right, let's keep this going. It's a flyweight bout. Kevin, you're going next. Rodrigo Bortin versus Kai Kara France. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kai Kara France.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
Because I'm submissive to people from France.
Wait. Hold on.
And whose name,
Kevin's married.
Whose name is Kai.
Hold on. Okay, now we're getting into some real math here. Kai, do you have to go for the person named Kai when they're fighting as well?
No, but like what I said before, he has Polynesian roots, and he actually beat one of my buddies on Tyson Nam. So,
and like samurais, now you have to go for him. I love it.
Sort of.
I'm just projecting everything for the 6-hour documentary. Don't worry, it's coming.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to the flyweight bout between Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinoza. Kai, who do you have on this one? 15 seconds on the clock.
I think Jordan Espinoza. Just because Tim Elliott, his weird style, it's like there's a time and place, and I just feel like it's been playing against him too much. His weird style has been getting him hurt and like just getting him hit too much. It's just like, and I feel like people is like, it's not weird there anymore. It's not weird anymore. You know what I mean? People figuring him out.
Fair enough. Kevin, who do you have on this one?
This is KC Mo connection. I got to go with Tim Elliott. He's part of the fabric of the fight DNA from just a little bit north of where I'm from. So I'm hoping he stuns Vegas. Get some shots in. That unique style and that navel tattoo pay off.
All right, gents. I'm putting 30 seconds on the clock here because this is the light heavyweight bout. It is the first time we're going to really see this kind of performance from one Israel Adesanya going up a weight class to fight one Jan Blachowicz. Kevin, you start us off. 30 seconds for you. Go.
I've been back and forth, but I just have that lingering feeling, can I pick against Israel Adesanya? He's going up a weight class. I think the odds are a little bit against him, though. It's not that much more weight. It's a little different, but he's still taller than his opponent. He's got better reach than his opponent, and it's Israel Adesanya. I can't. I really want to. I tried to talk myself into it all day, especially since I found out I could yell "Yan" as a celebration, but I cannot. I'm going with Adesanya.
Adesanya. All right. What do you got on this one, Kai?
I think I'm gonna go with Jan just because he doesn't have to, or he makes it ugly, and I think if he hits you in the most awkward ways, and that's when he hurts you. It's not the most cleanest ways. It's not gonna be clean, of course, like Israel Adesanya, but I feel like if he makes it ugly, and I feel like he will. All he has to do is just touch him, and so yeah, I'm gonna go with Jan.
Interesting.
Can I ask this? What do you two think Jan is odds wise? What do you think Vegas has him at?
Like what? Like plus 200?
Oh my God! Yeah, don't guess, Raph. That's it. It's plus 200. That's what Jan's at. So you can make some money with your picks. Just saying. Should I steal them? That's what Raph.
I mean, it's good enough to take to mybookie.com. Not an official sponsor of the show, but if you like our good friend Kai Kamaka, why don't you go and use his promo code? I don't know what it is. Anyway, Kai, just in the event that there is a tie.
Wait, Raph, aren't you missing a fight?
Which one am I missing?
Song Yadong versus Kelsey Phillips.
Kyler
Phillips. I'm sorry.
I did. I got so excited talking about.
I effing told you there were
Joe
15 fights. You besmirched me. And I was like, he's missing one.
Shut up. Just fucking get over it. All right. I do have this one. All right, Kai, I guess you need to give this one. Kevin, you're the one that's always, there's too many goddamn fights, and I edit one of these, and yet you're the one saying, no, put one more back on there.
It's right, what's Kai, on the card. I can't help it.
Shut up. Song Yadong or Kyler Phillips. I'm only giving you 5 seconds. Go.
Was it for me?
I said Kai. Kai.
I'm going to go with Song Yadong.
All right, Song Yadong. Very good. Good job. Kevin, who do you have?
Song Yadong. Come on. I can't believe this is the one you forgot. My cousin, Kyler Phillips versus Song Yadong. My man.
I want to point something out. You literally made me do that so that you both could pick the exact same person. So I'm really glad we spent time where you neutralized because you both picked the same person. Real good time investment. To the end of the show where we do have to give, in the event of a tie, we do tiebreakers. And Kevin, the swings back your way. It is going to be telling us who are the 2 performances of the night that they typically give out and 1 fight of the night that they typically get out. That way we have tiebreakers. Kevin?
Fight of the night first, Dober versus his opponent. Then fight of the next, performance of the night 1 goes to Adesanya. I'm doubling down there. Performance of the night 2 is easy. It's going to go up to Rakic.
Okay. And who do you have for this, Kai? 2 performances of the night and 1 fight of the night, sir.
So I think the fight of the night would be Islam versus Drew. 1 performance of the night, I would have to say, would be Drew Dober for his knockout. And then the other performance of the night, I think I got to go with, I think I'm going to go with the winner, whoever it is, of the Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling fight.
No.
So I can't do that. That's not a real person. Like, no grown-up can do that at a sports book.
Sterling or Yan.
Okay.
You did pick Sterling, so would you like to go with that, or would you like to pick it?
Or I'll give him the field for minus 1 pick. Oh, damn it. Okay.
I would say Sterling by submission for his performance of the night.
Oh, he's really doubling down. I just love the fact that if you look at Kai Kamaka, he definitely on this ballot is tripling down on Drew Dober. That is an interesting play. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody go that far to go all 3
well,
for Dober.
The fight, the matchup itself is gonna be fight of the night, right? And I just feel like if Drew Dober wins, which I think he can, it'll be in a devastating knockout fashion, just because the way he fights. So I mean, you got it. I feel like it's gonna be a great fight, and he wins by how he always wins, knockout. So
And Kevin, you have to be a little bit afraid here because we actually have a former Performance of the Night winner, so he understands how much that actually means. So just to kind of make sure you understand what you're under the gun here with. Anyway, Kai,
Thanks,
the
Rev.
time has come. Do you have a bet in mind now that you had a little bit of time to think about it? If you don't, that's perfectly fine, but we like to defer to the guest because Kevin, I'm sure, has one in mind. Go right ahead if you got one, sir.
shoot, I don't know. I think okay. I'll make. I guess this one. I guess you can say like you have to make a post that says like White Claw is the best beer ever,
Oh,
and you have to be like
see?
you have to chug a White Claw.
Yeah, no, Kai, you said that you didn't really know what you were going to do, but you really came through at the end because that is a specifically good kind of bet. Kevin, do you agree to these terms?
I agree to these terms. Loser has to chug a White Claw and proclaim it's the best beer ever in the winner's honor.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
All right.
That is totally fine.
Okay. I mean, I guess this should beg the question before we really fully stamp on it, though. Kai, are you a regular White Claw drinker? Have you had a White Claw before?
I've had a White Claw. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just
And
making sure
I'm
we're
not a
not
big
just
drinker.
giving you the opportunity to just sit there and be like, secret, I've always loved White Claw.
Well, I'm Mormon, so I don't really drink. Nah, just kidding.
It would have been the best twist at the end of the show and being like, he was Mormon the whole time?
I would have been like
Uh-oh, we just
sponsored by
basically brought this
RVCA? What?
So, Kai, here's a little thing that we like to do. We always like to invite the person who did Over Under Kevin to come back next week after the fights. Would you like to come back next week and talk some of the fights, sir?
Yeah, I mean that I'll have a little bit more ground depending on how the fights go to talk some shit. So I mean, yeah, I would love it.
It's not really
No,
a
let
thing
it
where
go,
people
Raph.
come back
I'm
the
in.
next week with a vengeance to come and talk shit. But
He's
you know
gonna
what?
have
We'll make
one.
the exception for you. And just so that people know, yes, if you're looking the next opportunity to go ahead and see Kai Kamaka, Kai, your next fight is coming up on May 1st, correct?
Yeah, May 1st against
May
TJ
1st.
Brown.
All right. Well, we are going to talk with you more about that next week, but you have such a great resume. You were one of my favorite interviews that I did all last year, and I've been waiting to bring you on Verbal Tap to talk with Kevin, and I'm so glad you were able to come in with us. You're a great sport about all these things. Kai, we're already looking forward to chatting with you next week, my man.
Thank you, buddy.
And we are.
And
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is